There's shit on my tie. There's shit on my tie. And this Do you know what I love most about Mississippi? The fact that I'm not there anymore. I am now in Philadelphia, and it's okay. It's all right. Buildings, sidewalk. We didn't think far enough ahead. We were going to parody Always Sunny and everything, but I couldn't be bothered. So here's a video about J. Allen Brack.
Do you feel like we lied to you?
Yeah!
Manipulated you?
Yeah!
Exploited you?
Yeah!
That's politics, baby!
Blizzard Entertainment President J. Allen Brack is a man who knows he doesn't have to apologise, and that's why he's never done it. You would think, surely, that the man who has had to say sorry on behalf of his company several times in a matter of months has most definitely apologised. But he most definitely hasn't. Brack, with his hairstyle mirroring that of an ageing vampire's, may have said the words, but the lack of substance in those words, the pointed and carefully crafted dodging of responsibility, means he's never had to really apologise for a damn thing. Recently, Blizzard added to its growing list of PR failures by releasing a severely underwhelming remaster of Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 Reforged was blasted at launch for its scaled-back visuals, unchanged user interface, and a general sense that the original game had barely been upgraded. Connection issues at launch worsened the reception, as did the fact that Reforged completely replaces features of the original version on Battle.net. On top of that, official promo material for the game that showed unrepresentative footage, specifically the more dynamic cutscenes that didn't make it into the final game, were being used to promote it. When you factor a bunch of bug reports into the mix, it all makes for a very grim picture. The backlash was severe, massive, and record-breaking, that latter point being due to a concerted meta-bombing effort that saw Warcraft 3 Reforged earn the lowest Metacritic user score of all time. This was a good thing to happen, because it was funny. At the time of me talking, Reforged now has an incredible basement rating of 0.5 after more than 28,000 user contributions. During most of this fury, Blizzard does what Blizzard does best. Nothing. It sat back, as it often does, hoping for the shitstorm to pass, and when it became clear things weren't easing up, it finally stepped in. The company has since begun to issue full refunds for the game, and Blizzard's president, with his Skyrim character creator hair, offered one of his custom non-apologies. Concerning Warcraft 3 Reforged, honestly, it's been a bit of a hard week, simpered Brack. Our community has come to expect really amazing things from us, and we've heard from them that we did not achieve that bar. But we stand behind our games and have consistently shown that not only do we support them, but we continue to build on them, even after launch. And we're committed to doing that here as well. We're going to continue to update the game, and we're going to continue to update the community with our plans going forward, whether you fucking like it or not. I added that last bit. A bit of a hard week, he says, with a characteristic lack of detail. The company failed to meet amazing expectations, he says, with a characteristic humble brag that doesn't actually take responsibility for anything and places the blame on the customers who envisioned just too much. We stand behind our games, he says, while never once addressing any specific concerns or saying anything that's actually worth half a shit. This is because Blizzard Entertainment President J. Allen Brack is a man who knows he doesn't have to apologise, and that's why he's never done it.
Decided to put Dr. Dan
in a title matchup just because the ruling class wants the grand championship.
While Blizzard capitulated on the refund front and Brack freshly moistened his puppy dog eyes for his bullshit non-apology, the company conveniently weaved its way around another grievance people have with Warcraft 3's disappointing re-release, a far more sinister and nasty bit of legal dick-waving that allows the company to fully exploit its own audience. Blizzard's updated terms of use give the company full legal rights to claim ownership of any game modifications and custom games. It would appear the company is still a little touchy over the fact that the wildly successful Defense of the Ancients was a community-crafted game mod for Warcraft 3, and Blizzard didn't see penny one of the success that followed with Dota 2. Despite Dota's origins as a mod, Dota 2 was picked up by Valve and became one of the biggest reasons for the explosive popularity of the MOBA genre. While Valve and Riot Games made a killing with Dota 2 and League of Legends respectively, Blizzard contrived its own take on the style Heroes of the Storm, which was pretty well received. I mean, I played it like twice and it was okay. Not all was well, however, because Blizzard got a blizzard. As of December 2018, the studio and parent company Activision have lost significant interest in Heroes of the Storm, downsizing development and suddenly cancelling all esports tournaments without even informing those who would be most impacted by the cancellation, including casters and teams who were told tournament play would continue only 1 month prior to the news breaking. With no advance warning and literal careers tied up into the esports scene, Blizzard dealt significant damage to more than one livelihood that December, and you better believe a shittily unapologetic apology followed. "This was another very difficult decision for us to make, no," claimed a blog post co-signed by Brack and Ray Gresco. "The love that the community has for these programs is deeply felt by everyone who works on them, but we ultimately feel this is the right decision versus moving forward in a way that would not meet the standards that players and fans have come to expect." Why do I do this voice? That's all Brack and company had for the people they had right royally fucked over, because Blizzard Entertainment President J. Allen Brack is a man who knows he doesn't have to apologise, and that's why he's never done it. Now, I've got all the time in the world to make a mockery of J. Allen Brack's insincere posturing facsimiles of apologia, but I want to quickly circle back to Blizzard's custom game acceptable use policy, which gives the company that aforementioned ownership on community creations. The policy states, "Custom games are and shall remain the sole and exclusive property of Blizzard. Without limiting the foregoing, you hereby assign to Blizzard all of your rights, title, and interest in and to all custom games, including but not limited to any copyrights in the content of any custom games. If for any reason you are prevented or restricted from assigning any rights in the custom games to Blizzard, you grant to Blizzard an exclusive, perpetual, worldwide, unconditional, royalty-free, irrevocable license enabling Blizzard to fully exploit the custom games or any component thereof for any purpose and in any manner whatsoever." Fuck. It's a lot of words saying Blizzard gets to own and profit from anything you might create, even and especially if it becomes another genre-leading smash hit like Defense of the Ancients. As if that wasn't shady enough, Blizzard claims a moral right to your content. And while that might sound amusing in an overblown self-aggrandizing way, it's actually rather horrid. Moral rights don't refer to morality in the philosophical sense so much as they refer to the relationship between a creation and its creator, and the level of control somebody has over something they themselves have made. At its most basic, moral rights grant a creator the ability to claim credit for their work, the right to say they made what they made, and that is what Blizzard is claiming when it refers to moral rights. It not only wants to exploit community creativity without the need to remunerate its creators, it wants to lay claim to the very creation of that content, to take full credit for it, to say Blizzard made this without any obligation to acknowledge whoever actually did the work. But hey, Blizzard had a hard week. Poor Blizzard, poor J-Ray. Just look at that sad little face. How could you not love that poor widowy baby call me maybe face?
MV stack. And Sterling getting involved here.
So much for fair play.
And a knee right to the back of the neck.
He's got him hooked.
Damn it.
He got him.
Of course, we'd be remiss not to discuss Brack and his performative displays of insincere contrition without touching on the tough Hearthstone esports moment. We've discussed the past events many times on the show, so to recap as briefly as possible, Blitzchung did a Hong Kong, Blizzard did a suspension, Chinese influence blamed, Blizzard condones governmental abuses through tacit compliance, Brack does a sorry. At BlizzCon 2019, J. Allen Brack offered what the press called an apology, but what we here at the Jimquisition call fucking pathetic. Here's a sampling of what Brack said, and note the by now obligatory hallmarks of the Brack Apology. The Brackology, if you will.
You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision-making, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. When I think about what I'm most unhappy about, there's really two things. The first one is we didn't live up to the high standards that we really set for ourselves. And the second is we failed in our purpose. And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability. We will do better going forward. But our actions are going to matter more than any of these words.
Refusing to share any details of the events in question, vaguely referring to yet another tough and hard and difficult affair, claiming to accept accountability without specifying anything he's actually accountable for, and quickly talking about high expectations and standing behind quality video games in a desperate attempt to pull the conversation into the light, breezy, and ultimately shallow realm of, hey, aren't video games fun? Let's just have some fun. Don't think about anything, ever. Don't think. The Division 2 isn't political. Don't think! This is what the Brackology is. It's just so smooth by now that Brack could run for office. Blizzard's president isn't sorry. He'd actually address specific issues and offer solutions or amends for those issues if he actually gave a flying shit about any problems you might have with his shit company. He doesn't have to be sorry though. Blizzard Entertainment president J. Allen Brack is a man who knows he doesn't have to apologise, and that's why he's never done it. Brack demonstrated how little he needs to apologise at the very Blizzcon where he pretended to be sorry about whatever it was he was pretending to be sorry about. After a year of harsh PR fails and hounded over the Blitzchung controversy, Blizzard went into BlizzCon 2019 with a very clear and obvious goal. Quickly placate the crowd with a mama's farce of an atonement, then move very quickly onto game announcements. Blizzard's parent company knows this well, for Activision was there when Gamers TM boycotted Modern Warfare 2, only to be found playing it en masse the moment it released. This notorious image is all Activision Blizzard needs to know. It's got nothing, ultimately, to worry about. Ever. At least when you lot, the cattle, are unhappy, when the actual customers, the people with the money, investors, the shareholders, whatnot, if they're upset, then there's a problem, but you lot, what they got to give a fuck about. Whether it's ruining esports careers, suspending Hearthstone players for self-serving political reasons, or claiming legal and moral ownership of its own audience's creativity, Blizzard can and will continue to be total fuckwads and get away with it, because ultimately, it has Diablo 4 coming out, it has Overwatch 2 coming out. Never mind that they already confirmed microtransactions in Diablo 4 before they even knew when the game's going to be fucking finished. Never mind that Overwatch popularised loot boxes and perpetuated the predatory in-game gambling craze of the late 2010s. Blizzard has consumer products, and it knows you will consume. It may toss some bones out here and there, a display of sorrow, even a full refund, but it knows you'll be back. You always come back. Activision Blizzard gained 93 million new players last quarter thanks in large part to its mobile division. Meanwhile, Activision as a parent company is reportedly planning to turn Blizzard into far more of a content mill, increasing the rate at which it releases games, which may spell the end of Blizzard's sporadic releases with long-term support, especially as it too focuses on mobile gaming. With this increased output, I can't say I expect the quality to increase with it, and with the company apparently planning more remakes in 2020, one would hope Blizzard learned its lesson from Reforged and will be better next time. But Blizzard, these past few years, has demonstrated that doing better isn't high on its list of priorities. It only has to keep on failing upwards, which it's been doing with a disgusting level of success. And that is why Blizzard Entertainment President J. Allen Brack is a man who knows he doesn't have to apologise, and that's why he'll never do it.
Tonight, you terrestrial pedestrians will enjoy what we serve you. You will smile and ask for more. And by the end of the night, you will all thank God for me.
Not so much.
Well, Paul, as wretched as that was, let's be clear here. Contractually, I hate to say it, but Jim Sterling is in charge of Rise Pro Wrestling. We are at the whims of a madman in many senses, and tonight the champion, Tony Johnson, could have all the odds stacked against him.
Well, that needs to be now. He's teaming up with Charlotte.
It's like Always Sunny, innit? Justin, did you get the dogs? Did you get the shot of the dogs? There's tons of dogs over there. Fucking loads of them. That'll do. Thank God for me. I'm going to play with the dogs.